the more my feeling of inadequacy actually increases. Because I'm just going at any moment, someone's going to find out I'm a total fraud and that I don't deserve any of what I've achieved. These feelings are normal. And again, I want you to understand and embrace that, particularly because of the kind of work that you do. Now, this one happens to be my favorite because it's more recent. How many of you have heard of the hit musical Hamilton? Do you know the story behind that? That it began, this all began as an idea. It took him 7 years to write. 7 years. And I don't remember how many years ago it was that the first song that he wrote as a rap, he debuted at a poem at an event at the White House. And that caught some firestorm that got him going on writing the musical. It took him 7 years. A lot of us don't think about that. What we think about is we look at all the Tony Awards. We look at the movie that's coming. We look at the fact that he's now doing movies. We look at all this stuff and we see the end and we think, oh, it must be so easy for that person. Oh, that person never struggles with self-doubt. I'm telling you, these feelings are normal. They are part of the process. We need to eradicate them from the business side. We need to eradicate them from the way that you think about yourself. Okay? It's okay with the work. So I love this because on Lin-Manuel last year in September posted this screenshot. This is a screenshot from September 23rd, 2013, so 4 years ago. 4 years ago, Hamilton wasn't done. 4 years ago, he was still writing it. And he writes to his wife, who is a trained chemical engineer from MIT, by the way, writes to his wife, sometimes the writing doesn't happen as fast as I'd like it to. There's nobody here that can relate to that, right? That's the doubt that comes with doing your creative work. That's cool. I know, she says. He says, I have a hard time finding the balance between not beating myself up when it doesn't happen as fast as I'd like it to, and not wasting time while I wait for it to happen. So this is the doubt that's fine for the creative process, because your creativity actually requires tangential thinking. Your creativity requires time for your mind to wander. Your creativity requires you to doubt and to redo and to go back to the drawing board. That is the process of creating. This bullshit right here, where you beat yourself up, where you waste time because it's not happening, this is the stuff we want to stop. Because you can have room to have the creative process take time, but you don't have to torture yourself while you do that. So she then says, hey, everybody has that problem. And he's like, what? I'm not alone in all this? And so he posts this to basically say to everybody out there working on their first musical, working on their first business, working on inspiring their team, that project that you're putting your heart and soul into. The only solution, keep going. The only solution, get back to your piano. The only solution is to keep on moving forward. And it sounds so simple. And one of the reasons why I am taking the time to unpack all the science for you is because it's really easy in life to say, just try, just push through it. But unless you understand why, that there's research behind this, that the only way more confidence comes is through the act of trying. And the only way that you're going to stop killing yourself mentally as you're trying to move forward is if you make a decision that you're not going to do it. And you know, the thing is that the longer that you wait there and you think about what you need to do, guys, you're not going. There's a cognitive bias that our minds have called the spotlight effect. It's actually a protection mechanism to try to keep you out of danger. What happens is whenever your mind perceives that there's any kind of risk, it is designed to flood with cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and suddenly magnify the problem. We go back to Hector's example where he doesn't reach his wife and all of a sudden his mind goes, "Rrr." That was the spotlight effect, magnifying the situation. And what it does is it's trying to back you away. This is how self-doubt works. You get worried about something, cortisol flies in, you start thinking, now the risk feels so huge, so you're not going to make that cold call. You're not going to ask for $4,000 instead of $2,000. And guess how fast it happens? 5 seconds flat. Sometimes way faster. And so what's interesting about this photo is that, you know, there's probably a coach standing behind Sammy going, come on, Sammy, you got this, kiddo. You got this. You just went off the middle layer. We're only 4 feet higher, buddy. You got this. Okay, we're going to count backwards, right? 5, 4, 3, let's go. Or mom, come on, Sammy. I'll take you to the whippy dip, honey. Come on, you can get the sprinkles. Or an older brother. That's usually how it happens, right? A giant push. Just like the Pope pushed Michelangelo. Just like Lin-Manuel pushed himself back to the piano. Just like Tabby pushed Stephen King. This is the only way. And you know what makes me so freaking sad about this photo is that when we were all kids, you had people that pushed you. You had teachers that saw greatness in you. You had youth group leaders and coaches, and you had parents, and you had relatives, people that didn't buy your BS, that didn't care how you felt, and that just pushed you. And what sucks about being an adult is that you're lucky if you get home at the end of the day from work and somebody you're related to says something nice to you, you know? We're alone. Yeah, we're alone. And so the thing that's so amazing about starting to understand that it's up to you and understand how feelings rise up, but you have a choice about what you do after them, you truly have power over that. You do. When you start to understand that, you get full control over your life. You have the ability to push yourself. You truly do. So let me show you how this kind of plays with science. So we already talked about self-doubt, right? So you've got these feelings that rise up. Those feelings trigger action. For most of us, we start by overthinking. And then the overthinking leads you into this loop that you get stuck in, that gets encoded in your brain, where you start to doubt yourself. Now, the interesting thing, and we're going to start weaving in the science of habits, is that human beings